Greetings, gamers! This is D-Vang. Welcome back to another episode of the Apple Turnover Gang. We had just finished the first mission in the Crimson Hand mission pack. Dun dun dun, Order of the Crimson Hand mission pack book. And that was Mission 1, The Black Ritual. So we had just completed that. Wasn't too horrific for our intrepid heroes. Ran into, a number of the Crimson Hand. But it went fairly quickly, fairly straightforward. That particular mission was fairly straightforward. And so we have to, sort of finish up, catch up on the mission, and then we will go to town. So, the reward for the last mission was for us to gain 2 extra loot cards for each hero, which is pretty exciting. So we do need to take care of that. So that's going to be a total of 9 loot cards. So let's shuffle these up here. Alright, so let's see what Bechamel gets. She's going to get 250 gold. She's going to get a gear card. And she is going to get a gear card. Alright, so we'll keep track of that. Doc gets a D6 times 50. Let's go ahead and roll that. Alright, so that's going to be 200. We'll keep that there. He is going to get $100. And he is going to get $25. And last but not least is Pete. Pete is going to get a D3 Darkstone. He seems to get a lot of the Darkstone. He's going to get 1 more Darkstone. And he's going to get a D6 times 25. So, no artifacts. Missed out on $50 in artifact and 1 Darkstone. So, D3 Darkstone as well is going to be 2 pieces of Darkstone. So we can kind of get that out of the way. 2 more pieces of Darkstone. So we don't have a lot of Darkstone in our chest. We have a total of 3. And then, 1 more. So we have 4. Yay. D6 times 25. Okay. So 125 for Pete there. What else do we have? So we can put those loot cards away. Alright. So we have 200, 325 for Doc there. All right, and then last but not least, 250 and excuse me, 250. And 2 gear cards. So let me grab the gear cards, see what we get. Okay, strangely my random draw from my massive pile of gear cards is the Dead Man's Coat and the Dead Man's Boots. And I swear, these were drawn from 2 different portions of the deck here. So anytime you roll a 6 for move, you get to heal 2 sanity for the Dead Man's Boots. That's actually not too bad. Pete has boots. So we can give those to Doc. I think he's got the strength to be able to carry it. That's fine. And then the Dead Man's Coat, which is discard to prevent all damage, just take it from a single source. -1 max crit, and a henchman ally with the item equipped can discard it to cancel a roll on the gruesome fate chart. The -1 max crit, and we don't have any allies, or no henchmen. So, I don't like the -1 max crit. So I think we're gonna sell this one. So let's just plan for that. Nothing else that we have picked up that we want to sell at this time. Nope. We look pretty good, I think. So that was the 2 gear cards and the 250 gold. So, and money is really what we want. So, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But we should travel. Yes, we should. We should travel to town and then see what we get. So, travel hazards. Everybody has automatically 1. So does Bechamel. She does not have a second one. Doc does not have a second one. And Pete does not have a second one. So just one travel hazard for each person. Alright, let's see what travel hazards we've got. So Bechamel, so red is going to be the first die in the pair. So that's going to be a 35. 35 is a ruined fort. You come across the smoking ruins of a military fort. It looks as though it was besieged and overrun sometime in the last few days. Your heart sinks. Each hero loses 1 grit. If you do not have a grit to lose, instead lose D3 sanity, ignoring willpower that carry over to the next adventure. Alright, well everybody does have 1 grit. So everybody will lose 1 grit, which is unfortunate. Alright. Not going to worry about canceling that. Now, I do have to remember, so we do have, what have we got? So we have Pete's ability to, once per travel, he can spend a grit to cancel a travel hazard on the D6 roll of 3+. So you know what? He will do that. Let's try that, because if he's going to lose his grit anyway, there you go. So he actually saves the grit for Bechamel and Doc, and that just and that simply cancels the travel hazard. Then we also have somewhere, don't tell me, we had something else that lets us cancel a travel hazard, right? I've sworn we picked up something. Oh yes. The telescope that Bechamel has. When traveling to town, you can cancel and re-roll 1 result on the travel hazard chart. So we have to remember that. So what happens for Doc is a 1/1. Usually that's going to be probably pretty bad. That is possession. Hero loses 1 sanity permanently and must roll a d6, and they could get a madness. All right. Well, so we're using the telescope. We're canceling that and re-rolling it. There you go. A 23 is Living Hills. Something's not right here. The hills surrounding the valley you're in seem to be shifting and stirring before your eyes. The road before you opens up to reveal a massive demonic maw waiting to devour you whole. Each hero has to make an agility 5+ test to avoid the maw. If passed, gain 15 experience. If failed, you lose your transport and lose 1 sanity permanently. Okay. Well, so Bechamel has a 3 agility. I believe everybody has a 3 agility at this point. Yep. And it was a 5+ test. So Bechamel fails. So she is going to spend a fortune to make a luck test to try to increase one of those by 1. And she succeeds. So she succeeds the test. Alright. Now we've got Doc. Has to make his agility test. 5+ he succeeds. And Pete gets a 5+ and he succeeds. Alright. Thank goodness for those fortune points. Alright, and then last but not least, Pete's gets a 35. Didn't we already just... We just did a 35. So I'm going to re-roll that. We don't want to do the ruin for it again. Something different. A 31. 31 is March of the Lost Army. You hear a thunderous roar from up ahead and pull off to the side of the trail to take cover. Moments later, a massive army of the dead comes into view, marching in formation, with tattered flags flying and a battery of hell cannons in tow. 1,000-strong Lost Army passes by here. Passes by with hate in their soul as black eye sockets. Each hero has to make a luck 5+ test. If passed, gain 20 experience. If failed, the Lost Army is lured to your presence, and the hero must take a run for it, running as fast as possible to get away. In your haste to escape, the hero loses 1 item of their choice. Ooh, well, that could be interesting. All right, luck 5+ test. All right, well, Bechamel has a 5 luck, so she succeeds. Alright, Doc Doc has a pathetic 1 luck. Yes, he has a pathetic 1 luck. We need a 5+. He gets it. Nice. And then Pete has a mere 2 luck. Again, nothing else. Because all the bonuses to luck had been given to Bechamel. So a 2 luck, 5+, got a 6. Excellent. So everybody survives that. And that is the end of our traveling. So again, the gang manages to survive that. So at this point, now we need to see what type of town we're getting to. Again, we're going to a large town. That's going to be a staple. Give us the most options. So what do we have? We have a 6, 7, 8, and that is a standard frontier town. So no special town whatsoever. All right. So we're going to sell the dead man's coat for $100, which will help a little bit. Now, we are hurting for money, despite we got some money, simply because we spent just about everything to get Pete his belt, his gun belt, his duelist belt. So, I think our next step, or the plan here, is going to be Bechamel. I think we need to upgrade Bechamel. As nice as the breaching gun is, so I'll remind people what the breaching gun is. She's got range for 2 shots. It's a shotgun. Uses D8 to hit and 4 damage, so 6+ counts as a critical hit. And any model that takes 1 or more wounds from this gun takes a stun marker. Stun marker is -1 defense, and then it's simply additional ones don't increase the defense loss. It just increases the number of turns that they have that -1 defense. And that is all that does. It certainly has come in handy to have the extra -1. She also has the high roller, which says her hit rolls of 6+ do +1 damage. And that's kind of why I tried to go the shotgun route. She has increased odds of getting the 6+ and getting the +1 damage. That said, I don't know about you guys, but it feels like with the number of dice that basically both Doc and Pete are throwing out 8 dice now for combat, that she's lagging behind because she's only got the 2. The breaching gun doesn't have enough slots to give her a 3rd shot with the shotgun. With it, it's only got 1 slot, which we had filled to give her a free reroll. But 2 dice, even with a D8 to hit and a D8 damage, and being able to provide the stun marker, just really hasn't been cutting it, especially since we're running into folks that have the endurance. And in fact, I mean, even the Crimson Hand has the endurance 3, right? So it can't take more than 3 wounds from any single hit. Extra damage is wasted. So the endurance basically equals you need more shots, more attacks, gives you more opportunity. And if she rolls a 6, she still gets that extra +1 damage. So I think the plan is to get her some upgraded weapons. Now, last town, we had been looking at which one, I don't remember what it was, the gambling hall or something that had the gambler pistols, or whatever they were called, which were kind of cool and unique, rather than just doing the standard gunfighter's pistol, the range 7, 3 dice, and boom, that's it. Giving some more unique type deals. So I think I'm gonna look for that. But we don't have much money. We have, I think, 1,000 gold to our name right now with all the stuff we just got, right? And that's clearly, most likely, not going to be enough. All right, but let's see what's in this town before we really make a decision on what we're going to do. But I believe the intent is most likely going to be simply to try to make some money. We don't have a lot of dark stones. We can't really sell any dark stone. So this should probably be a pretty quick town episode. Most town episodes are relatively quick. But let's see what we got. So we got a saloon, so good. Bechamel, we like going to the saloon. It's nice and straightforward for gambling. Then we have a church. All right, so we have at least some potential to get rid of some of the corruption. Oh, I almost forgot. Yeah, we have to roll for our items. Well, let's finish up seeing what's in the town, and then we have to roll for the items. So I'm glad that reminded me. So we have a frontier outpost. Not a lot to do there for us today. The mutant quarter, again, not a lot that we'll want to do there. We have the gambling hall, and I believe that had those weapons. I don't think we can afford one. We might be able to afford one, and she does still have her starting pistol, so that's potentially something we'll want to take a look at. We have the doctor's office. That will be good for getting rid of our corruption that we're going to have. We have the Indian trading post. I don't think there's a lot we can do there, or that we'll want to do there. And then we have the street market. Alright, and I don't remember if it was the gambling hall or the street market. One of the two was the ones we were looking at. Alright, so let's rewind a little bit before the traveling. I did forget to finish with the characters with rolling for corruption for their Darkstone icons. So we'll start with Bechamel. Bechamel has one icon on her breaching gun. That is all she has. She has no Darkstone. In fact, all of our actual Darkstone is in the tomb chest. We only have 4. So she has one icon on a tomb chest. So it does not corrupt, cause a corruption hit. So she is fine there. So now we go to Doc. So Doc has 2 on the Tools of Science, 1 on the Feathered Hatchet. He's got 1 on the Void Lantern for a total of 4. The Void Ring is fine. The Houndtooth is fine. So he has a total of 4. So that gives a total of 2 corruption hits, which he gets to save against. And he saves both of them because he has a 3+ willpower. Alright. And then last we have Pete. Pete has 1 for the trench pistol, 1 for the void catcher, 1 for the mark of the void. Yep. So he has a total of 3. So he takes 2 corruption hits. He fails both of them, interestingly enough, but he does have his Tattered Duster, 5+ save against it, and it fails. He's got 2 more. So he's at 4 corruption. So he definitely needs to go to the doctor and get that corruption taken care of. Bechamel still has 1 corruption, which she could deal with. It might not be bad for her to try to get rid of it. But I think for a start, so we'll send Bechamel to the saloon. She's going to gamble. Pete is going to go to the doctor's office, and he's got some of the money. And of course, Bechamel has some of the money so that she can gamble. And then the question is, what does Doc want to do? Is there anything Doc can do? Well, let's take a quick peek and see what is available. Oh, we should also see what the daily event is. Daily event card. Sometimes I forget these, and I apologize. I did catch it this time. Let's see what we get. So we have a heavy rain. So a brutal rain hammers the town, flooding the streets with mud and soaking to the bone any who dare set foot outside. So all rolls on the location event charts are -1 today. Okay, so that's good to know. Let's take a look and see what we have available to us. So the church, I don't think we need the church. Obviously, Banish Corruption would work. It's D6 -2 corruption removed. And he does have 4. So it is likely he's going to have a couple removed. But it's simply just safer to go to the doctor's office. And other than that, unless we wanted to get some auras... but again, I think we want to try to save our money a bit. The Indian Trading Post, has the Vision Quest. We don't really care. We don't have a madness or curses or mutations to get rid of. And he's got mostly melee stuff. And we don't have any tribal or scout heroes to be able to use the tribal tent. The mutant quarter does not particularly have anything that we want. Whiskey, bandages, dynamite, railhammer, three-handed items, which we don't really care. We don't need the surgeon because we don't have any mutations. We don't need the prophet per se. We got horrible spirit. So I don't think we need to go to the mutant quarter. We already know we're going to the doctor's office and the saloon. So what's the difference between the gambling hall? Gambling hall, anything interesting that we want to get from there. We don't really need extra move or changing any single die roll to a 6. Again, that's weight. Bechamel doesn't want it. Actually, showman. Pete is a showman. I forgot about that. So he theoretically could get something like the gold ring. I'm not sure that's necessarily what we care about. They do have the craps and the 5-card draw poker. For the video purposes, it generally kind of takes longer if there's no other options. And I don't want to spend a lot of time, trying to milk the gambling. I think just gambling in the saloon is enough. We don't have a Darkstone. Can't rob. Darkstone poker chip. Gamblers. So the gambler's gun. So that was the one that I was thinking, hey, that might be kind of neat to do. And that is 1,400 with 2 slots. So theoretically, we could make them 3 shots each. And then allows Bechamel to add D6 minus 3 damage to a single hit. That's kind of neat, right? And that's once per turn. And we could do a holdout pistol or something, but I think that's all right. But we don't have the money for it, so I don't think we can do that this turn. And the street market. Anything else? So again, it's the street gambling, a little more complex with bidding and roll, trying to get straights and things like that. We could get horses, but again, we don't have a lot of money. And if we're going to save up to get a couple weapons for Bechamel, we need to save up to get weapons for Bechamel. With the ornate pistol, yada yada. Hats, she can't really, she's already got a hat, don't have a Darkstone cell in the bathhouse. So that leaves us really with just 2 locations, the saloon and the doctor's office. We actually didn't use very many bandages or whiskey or anything. So we're actually pretty well stocked. I would say the option for Doc would be to go to the doctor's office to get like the anti-venom injection for 10, which is again can just be useful. Period. Right. And that's about all he sort of needs. Right. He could go to the saloon. He does have a 6 cunning. He could go to the saloon and do some poker. Because he does have a 6 cunning. He won't want to do the craps because he's only got a 1 luck. But he could get a little bit of money doing the poker. So I think that's what he's going to do. They're both going to go to the saloon. I think there's no blacksmith to go to pick up some Darkstone bullets, which is unfortunate. But I think that's what we're going to do. So let's start with the doctor's office with Pete. I think it's more important to get the corruption taken care of. So let's roll 2 dice. See what happens. A 6, but we are -1 makes a 5. So dirty tools. So attempts at surgery today are -1. Well, we're not getting rid of an injury or a mutation. We are treating corruption. So he's going to spend 400. Saves him to get rid of all 4 corruption. Oh, I forgot. He gets rid of 1 corruption automatically. So it's actually he only has to spend 300. To get rid of that. All right, and that's all he's going to do. I don't think there's anything else we need to buy. Oh, and he'll spend the 10 to get the anti-venom injection. We'll see if I can remember that since he's going to be the only one who's getting it. Because I think we're just staying a day. I don't think there's anything else that we need to do particularly. All right. So Bechamel in the saloon is a 7, -1 is 6. Dark Tidings. She starts the next adventure with 1 less grit. So we'll have to remember that. And then we'll start. And then Doc gets a 7 -1, so he starts with 1 less grit. So both of them start with 1 less grit. That rain really kind of screwed stuff up there with that. All right, so let's start with the poker. Bechamel. So Cunning. She is a Cunning 6 now because of the telescope. And she gets 3 successes. We'll go ahead and she's going to keep that, so that saves her, gets her an extra $100 that she makes from that. And then she gains an extra D6 times 50. Okay. So another 250. Alright. And then she will play craps, so she's got a 5 luck. Okay. She gets 2 successes. She will spend her 1 grit to re-roll these. Gets her 2 more. Nice. And so that is going to be an extra 300 for that. And then she also gets an extra 50. Excuse me. All right. So what do we do after that? We've got Doc. So Doc has his 6 Cunning for poker with $50 ante. He gets 1 success. He will spend his 1 grit to re-roll, and he simply breaks even. All right. So not much for him to do here, huh? That was a little sad. That was a little sad, Doc. All right, we did gain a little bit of money, and that is the end of the day. So let's see if we have an event. We do not with the 6, and I think that is it. I think we're just going to call it there. I don't know. I mean, the only other thing I might say is, okay, we'll send Bechamel and Doc to the doctor's office to get them their anti-venom. But I don't know that there's really any point of risking another day and having, something bad happen between the daily events, or, having a town event at the end, and of course spending the extra money for the hotel. Not that that's a lot of money. So we're going to call it there. So next week is mission number 2, which is what? Which is Captured. Which sounds forbidding. I have not read it yet, but its title is Captured. So that would be kind of scary if we are captured and have no equipment, and need to go find our equipment somewhere or something like that. That would be an interesting scenario, and it very well might be something like that. But I have not looked ahead, so I am in the dark, and we will face it together next week. Again, if you like the video, hit that thumbs up. Subscribe is much appreciated if you are not already subscribed. Again, this is a weekly series, and there will be some other videos on other cooperative board games, primarily, coming up in the near future. If you haven't already, there is a link to my Patreon page if you wish to help fund my efforts here to bring this series to you weekly, and additional videos of additional games to you, and again, potentially even, depending on how many backers I get, being able to get to conventions and show off other things at the conventions, including Flying Frog, but also other merchants and other games. Thanks very much for watching. I appreciate it, and I will see you next week. Take care.